With the anniversary of 9/11 coming up, I wanted to do more than just recount what happened on that day. I wanted to get into how it has changed so many aspects of our lives. So we have a really excellent expert here, kind enough to join us, Mahmood Khan, professor and the graduate director of Virginia Tech's Department of Hospitality and Tourism. So if anybody knows how every aspect of going on a vacation or taking a business trip was affected by 9/11, it would be Professor Khan. Good morning, sir. Welcome to KFI. Really appreciate your time.
Good morning. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, why don't you just start telling us all the different ways when we go to take a trip that the specter of 9/11 is hanging over what we experience?
Yeah, it has been all 20 years, but still the scars are still with us. One of the things that we see, it has impacted both the traveler as well as the service provider. If you recall the days when the travelers would be able to see their loved ones at the airport, it's a minor example, but you see that those days are gone when you can be in the lobby, wait at the lounge with your loved ones, tell them goodbye, and so on. Now consumers or travelers are in such a hurry that they have to give enough time. There is a sense of fear about the security, going through the security, taking things off, what to pack, what not to pack. All of those things are having a very distinct impact on the way we used to travel before.
I've noticed, Professor Khan, that when my relatives, back before 9/11 happened, they'd take me to the airport. They would park. They would go in with me. They would check in with me. They would go through the relatively minimal security check with me, go to the gate, wait until the flight was boarding, and that's when you said goodbye, and then they'd stay there and wave, to the plane as it took off. And now they get me to the curb at the airport and kick me out of the car, and off they go because there's no point anymore getting out of the car when you drop someone off at the airport. Is that right?
Exactly. Even in the car, someone is asking you to hurry up. And so
Yes.
it is such a, a big difference. Those who were born after 9/11, they may not realize it, that we used to have this luxury of saying goodbye, taking the pictures at the last minute when someone is going on the steps of the plane. All of those things are gone. The other one is the service providers. They have so many restrictions. Previously, they used to provide food and drinks on the plane. That is gone. Even those who are sitting, they are sitting with a lot of suspicion and fear as to who is coming in, who is walking in, and so on. That is an instilled fear which has a psychological impact on those who would like to travel. This has also impacted the international travel more than the domestic travel, because the destinations which are really good, attractive destinations, people are hesitating to go there just because it may not be safe or it will require more security checks. You do not know which country you are going to. That has greatly impacted the international travel. The other thing is, when a person is traveling, it is a more of a effect that affects the restaurants, it affects the other services. So
talk about how did 9/11 affect restaurants?
Okay, there were some big conferences that used to take place for the business or the business travelers. They would go there. Their travel has been very much restricted. So that will impact the entire food industry or restaurant industry, because people used to go there very freely and they would have those. Now the conferences are also very careful. They are selecting the destinations carefully. It is not like, they would go to any of the places that they are not familiar with. So that has caused for many of the traveling agencies and the regulatory agencies, a lot of different kind of headaches to plan those.
And I assume the same thing could be said of hotels that used to host
Exactly.
a lot of conferences and conventions, and there's just not. You're saying that even 20 years later, there just aren't as many conferences and conventions and big gatherings that require travel.
Exactly. The size has shrunk as well as the location. The location they are doing is are not as exotic, if I can use that word, as it used to be. And so now it is mainly the common kind of things. They are cut down on the number of days that they will have meetings and conferences. And now we have the double whammy of having COVID.
Wow.
And so this has practically, has a double impact on it.
Professor, thank you so much. I appreciate that perspective. It's good to talk to you.
Likewise. Thanks so much.
All right, Professor Mahmood Khan from Virginia Tech.